Alright, so now this tutorial is going to be on how to do drop shots in badminton. So, drop shots is arguably one of the hardest actual shots to do in badminton because of definitely the amount of control you need to do the drop shots. It's not like a smash or a lob where you just use a lot of power. It's when you are just supposed to tap it and you're supposed to have a good control, because if you do a drop shot too high to the net, you can get smashed. Or if your drop shot from the back is still too high, somebody waiting over here can just come and smash, and you're cooked. So this definitely requires a lot of practice, and definitely something that you need to perfect. So drop shots, what you do is you take your two-step. We'll start off with drop shots to the net. What we do is you take your two-step, and you just ever so slightly, you're supposed to gradually move the racket up, and you're just supposed to let the shuttle fly over the net. Now, as easy as it seems, it's actually quite difficult. The way in which you should angle your racket should literally be parallel to the ground. It should not be slanted to the left or to the right. It should just be straight down. And if you're holding it with the grip I showed you, your thumb should be facing down. So it should look like this if you're on the backhand. So when you come to the drop shot, you have your racket all the way parallel, and once the shuttle comes, you just tap it over using your wrist. So you're just moving it up like that. With the forehand, it's all the same. Your racket is supposed to still be in the same position, but it's not. Your wrist isn't turned around. It's supposed to be straight. So when you come into your two-step, you have your racket straight, and ever so slightly, you can use your index finger to help, just to push it up, and just to do that extra little flick for a drop shot. Now, drop shots from behind are slightly a bit more difficult. It has kind of the preparation for the shot has the same concept of a lob, only instead of clearing it, you would drop. So you're still right under the shuttle, you still hit it at maximum height at 12 o'clock. So right when the shuttle comes, you sort of do a movement down like this. So let me explain that. What you do is you pretend you're going to do a lob, as per usual. So once you make contact with the shuttle, you use your wrist to flick the racket down and do a turn. And then you're supposed to just bring your racket down to your waist. So the movement is like this. So it's in an intense moment when you think someone is going to lob. So I'll demonstrate. So you see, it can be very deceiving, and if practiced well, it can be good, because opponents will see the way you use your racket or you position your racket, and they won't be able to determine if it'll be a lob or a drop. So when you come up here, you just have to turn your racket ever so slightly. Once it's at 12 o'clock, and you bring it down to your waist. Okay, so it should look something like that. Okay, so you can even deceive your opponent and make it a very quick turn. But once you have enough control to come right to the shuttle, you just let your racket drop down to you. Okay. Drop shots from behind, when you're at a backhand stage or when it's on your non-favorable side, is again a little bit more difficult. For the forehand, it's a bit more straightforward coming down. When you're changing your grip, all you have to do, when you want to direct the side, you just move your wrist and go down this way. Or when you want to hit this side, you move your grip this way and go down. For the backhand side, you'll have to get used to it. So as you come down like this, it's going to be the same movement, but the racket's going to have to be above your head. So when you want to do a cross-court drop shot from behind, you have to come back 12 o'clock, maximum height, but instead of going down this way, you're going down the other way. Okay? So it should look something like this. Okay? Your racket still comes down to the side, but you're cutting it at more of an angle. Okay, so another technique for drop shots are slices. And they can only occur on the forehand, or the side that is dominant, the right side. What happens is you take a two-step, exact same thing again, 12 o'clock, and it's the maximum height. But instead of just doing what we did previously, which is just having a 12 o'clock and bringing it down sideways and bringing it down to your waist, instead what you're doing is you're doing a slice move. So it's not a drop down like this, it's a slice. And so slice, it has the exact same positioning, but when you come in contact with the shuttle, you have to come in contact with it at an angle. So previously I said you have to have it head on, you have to connect with the shuttle head on, but instead for a slice you'll have to connect it at an angle, like maybe a 40 to 35 degree. So when you do a slice, when you slice it, you're supposed to just slice the head rather than tap it and let it go down. You're supposed to give a good overhead, you're supposed to slice it like that. So the aim of doing this is because when a shuttle comes here, and you're not in this sort of position, a defender might read you and say, okay, he's not going to do a drop. Instead, when you trick him and do a slice shot, the opponent will get deceived. Because the aim for a slice drop shot is to have power as well. So it's one of the unique drop shots that requires power and goes right up to the net. So it will look something like this. Should look something like this.